Hi, everybody, and welcome to Cavaliers Corner. Mick Morano with you, along with head coach of the men's basketball program, Jeff Young. And Jeff, glad that you stopped by and catch everybody up on how the team is playing. Jeff, when you look at this and all of the seasons that you've been here, this has got to be one of the most fun teams that you've coached. I mean, I look forward to coming out and watching these guys play every time out, and it's just it's a thrill to watch them. It's a talented group and young, and you're bringing them along very well.
Yeah, they've been a lot of fun to coach also, Mick, and we kind of knew that going into the year. And, we've had some good teams in the past, and we've enjoyed a lot of the teams that we've coached also. And this team is right there with them. Just a great group of guys that come to work every day. They're young. They have a lot of energy. They're very coachable. They're eager to learn and get better. And, when you have that, you'll see improvement, and it certainly gives you a chance to win ball games.
There doesn't seem to be any jealousy. And, boy, I watch it, when you are talking to them, everybody's focused on what you're saying. So it's a group that wants to learn and get better.
Well, they better listen to me.
If they likes extra laps.
Well, and you're right. There's been times when you don't feel like you have the attention of the team. But again, these guys, they're dialed in. They love the game of basketball. They want to get better. They are young, even though we have some veteran guys that are playing quality minutes for us. But we started 3 freshmen at Malone, and if you didn't know the makeup of our lineup or our roster, you would have never guessed there was 3 freshmen and a sophomore out there. Yeah. So they kind of get it. They played in big games in high school. They don't get too high, they don't get too low. They go about their business, and they work hard and get better every day.
I love the way that front court plays together. Sterling Christie, and also Chandler Vaudrin drops down to help as well. And Andy Lucian, those 3 guys just seem to help one another out and are really, with their height and athletic ability, they're a formidable group to deal with down low.
No doubt about it, Mick. And, you mentioned Andy and Sterling. There's 2 more guys that just kind of go about their business every day. If you watch them play, you wouldn't know if we were up 20 or down 20, and they just go about their business. And, Sterling's given us a dimension that we really didn't anticipate. He's one of the better shot blockers at the Division II level. And, he uses his strength and his athleticism, and he's really saved us on a number of occasions coming over and blocking some shots.
Helping out on the defensive end as well, with the whole package. He's improved his offensive game as well.
He sure has. The first 3 or 4 games, he was averaging 2 or 3 points a game, and just kind of trying to figure some things out. And as the season's gone on, he's gotten better and better, and more confident. And these last 3 or 4 games before the injury, he was averaging a double-double, 15 or 16 points, and 8 or 9, 10 rebounds.
Plus the blocks, and he's been terrific.
He's been great.
Jeff, you made just a slight change really since the get-go in the lineup, and that was Daryl Strawder. You had him starting, and now Connor West is, and Daryl is your first or second substitute off of the bench. Yeah. Why did you make that, or decided to make that decision, or to switch?
Well, I look at Connor and Daryl. Either one of them, I consider them both starters, even though one has to come off the bench because they pretty much play the same position. But Daryl was starting at the beginning of the year, if you think back 2 or 3 months ago.
Right.
And he had a slight injury, so we moved Connor Wesson in the starting lineup, and Connor kind of flourished in that role. And I really like bringing Daryl off the bench because he can score it and shoot it, and gives another dimension off the bench. So we just kind of kept it that way. We were winning ball games at that point in time, and I talked to Daryl. I said, again, in my mind, you're a starter, but we'd like you coming off the bench, and he was good with that, and we knew he'd accept that role. And now that Connor went down, that put Daryl back in the starting lineup. So we'll see what happens when they're both healthy, but either way, I think we're in a good spot with them.
Do you think, too, it took a little pressure off of Daryl as well, maybe moving him to the bench, because he seems to come in now and he's really looking for a shot, and wow, can he shoot? When he gets hot, you can't stop him.
Yeah, probably. Although I think these guys like to be in that starting lineup, but he gets it. It's not going to affect the way he plays, whether he's coming off the bench or in that starting role. Matter of fact, he was probably playing more minutes coming off the bench because as soon as I sub him in, I don't take him back out until either the half or the game's over. So either way, it's going to work out fine.
You know, you told me he made a tremendous sacrifice. You were down a couple of players because of injury against the Malone, and the guys were just unbelievable. But he really sacrificed his offense to really lock down their best player.
No doubt about it. And I think he scored 8 points, and he had a couple really good looks that he would typically knock down in the second half. I think he missed 2 or 3 threes, and that was probably because he was chasing Ty Jordan all over the place for 35 minutes. So you're right. He sacrificed a little bit of offense just to shut down Ty, and I think Ty was 5 of 15 from the field and kept him under his average. So Daryl's that type of guy. If you ask him to do something, he's willing to do it, and he does a great job whatever you ask him to do.
I have to talk to you about Chandler Vaudrin. This guy is unbelievable. I mean, just not only looking at all of the statistics that he's in the top 5 in the conference, but he really has the fire and is very competitive. And he's a little bit mouthy, and he gets it from the fans and that, but he seems like he's a pretty coachable kid and a real talent.
Well, he is a good kid. There's no doubt about it. We've been working on some of the things you just mentioned, but at the end of the day, he's a competitive guy. I don't want to take that edge off of him. And, you're always looking as a coach for competitive kids that love to compete and going to give maximum effort when they step out on that floor, and he does that night in and night out. So, he can get better at some things, whether it's, communicating with an official or an opposing player. And some of that just comes with some maturity. But at the end of the day, Mick, we love his competitiveness. He's, rebounding the basketball extremely well. He finds the open man. He's got a knack for the game, and we just want him to continue what he's doing.
And he really, the other guys really seem to listen to him when he say, he throws some. Him and Andy really seem to have something with his alley-oop going, but the other guys seem to listen to him.
Well, Mick, that's what makes this group pretty fun because I think they all kind of have a good respect for one another. They're starting to understand their games, and I think they have fun playing together.
Yeah.
So when you have that dynamic where nobody's concerned about getting points or whatever it may be, they're just concerned about winning games, that certainly makes it easier to coach them.
Bo Furcron's been a little bit inconsistent, but all in all, he's had a pretty good season and contributed in a lot of different areas for the team.
He sure has. If we look back as a staff before the season and kind of project some numbers where we thought a Bo could be or what a great season would be, and he's gone beyond our expectations. A lot of times people forget these guys are freshmen.
Yeah, right.
And freshmen have a history of, the ups and downs, and Bo's had a little bit of that, and but overall he's been, better than we thought he'd be. He's scoring the basketball, he's getting to the rim, his rebounding's improved. We've put him on some of the opposing team's better players, and he's done a pretty good job defending. If he's working every day and getting better, then he's right on track.
Jeff, did you think that this conference was going to be as tough as it has been? Because it is just as good as the GLIAC, I think. And there's some talented teams.
I think so, Mick. I mean, a lot of people, looked at it as, where the GLIAC was last year and where the GMAC was last year, and there was a step down. There was no doubt about it. But if you look a year in advance to this year, I mean, when you add a Findlay and a Hillsdale, who are traditionally two of the better teams in the GLIAC, Walsh has been right there, so there's 3 teams. And you got a Kentucky Wesleyan that has, 10 national championships. There's not that much of a difference between the 2 conferences, especially this year. The GLIAC added 2 new members that were NAIA schools. So if you look top to bottom, GLIAC and our conference, the GMAC, there's not a whole lot of difference.
Malone, great victory on the road, hostile, down 2 starters. What a performance the kids put on. How's that going to help you? Talk a little bit about the game and how that's going to help you coming up with a real tough stretch.
Well, when you have 2 injuries like that, and you can kind of see it in the guy's face, they knew the Malone game was coming, and Connor went down last Monday night. We thought he might have broke his foot, but we knew we weren't going to, right away, we knew we weren't going to have him for the Malone game. And then 2 days later, Sterling goes down in practice, and we knew we weren't going to have him for the Malone game. So there's, even the coaching staff, you have to take a deep breath and kind of refocus yourself and the guys. We thought we had enough with the guys we had playing that we would be okay. We made some adjustments, and like you said, sometimes these things can help you. And I think it did. Andy kind of came out of his shell, so to speak, and was more offensive minded, and he needed that. Yeah. And he went to work down there.
Oh.
He was tremendous, and that's kind of how we envisioned him playing. And I don't know if he can get 17 every night, but he needs to look for that shot a little bit more, and that's going to help him down the stretch.
What do you think this ball club is going to have to do, Jeff, down the stretch now with about 6 weeks to go to solidify your position in the top couple?
Well, I think we have to get healthy first. We're hoping that both guys are maybe a week to 2 weeks out. We're not sure right now, but we're going to miss Sterling. We're going to miss Connor West for sure. So it helps our rotation when we're a little bit deeper. And we have obviously a home game tonight, and then 3 on the road, and then number 1 and number 2 team in the conference coming to our place in a week and a half. So, as long as we're doing what we've been doing, work hard every day in practice, try to get a little bit better, prepare for each team, I think we'll be okay.
I do too. I think this is a team to really going to do some damage in your first year in the GMAC. So best of luck to you. We'll be with you, especially in February, the whole way. And then by tournament time, we'll be set to go too. So it's a pleasure to watch you coach this team. It's wonderful to watch the way the players play for you.
Well, we enjoy them, and like I said, I think they're going to get better, and we'll see what happens down the stretch.
Jeff Young, head coach of the Walsh University Cavaliers on Cavaliers Corner.